So I read the Shades of Orange. No, I read I'm Thinking of Ending Things by Iain Reid with Rachel's book club over at the Shades of Orange. If you are not familiar with Rachel, I'll be sure to link her channel down in my description, along with a link to the Goodreads description of this book. Just so you know, I do that in all my videos. I just always forgot to mention it. You know, any book or website or BookTuber or anything like that that I mention, I always link in the description, just so y'all know. Okay, so yeah, I'm Thinking of Ending Things. This book did not come with a synopsis. I think I need to adjust my camera, sorry. Okay, so this book did not come with a synopsis. However, there is several little reviews on the inside cover, and one of them I think is a good synopsis. So I'm going to read that to you. It's really short. I'm Thinking of Ending Things begins with the unnamed narrator setting off with her boyfriend to visit his parents at the remote farm, and soon devolves into an unnerving exploration of identity, regret, and longing. Delightfully frightening. And that is by the Globe and Mail. I don't know if that's a magazine or what, but there's no name, just the, just the printing press or whatever. Printing press. Psh, not printing press. Magazine or whatever it is. Anyway, I'll probably cut that out. So yeah, that is a good way to describe this book. That's a good makeshift synopsis. So yeah, I'm afraid that I didn't care for this book at all. I gave this book 1 star on Goodreads. So I'm about to give you essentially a list of my complaints about this book. So if you'd rather not hear that, I'm warning you now so you can just turn off the video. Also, I will not give any spoilers away, I promise. No spoilers here. This is a thriller, and I know the less you know going in, the better. So I'm not going to tell you anything about the storyline or the plot. So I'm just going to essentially list my complaints, and anything I tell you is not going to be, it's not going to ruin anything for you. So the first 3/4 of this story takes place while Jake, who is the male in the book, and his girlfriend are driving to his parents' farm, and it is told from her perspective. And like the little review portion there said, we don't know her name. So, and it's in first person. Like I said, she's narrating. And half of that first 3/4 is her and Jake's conversation. Now, this conversation, it's very philosophical and intellectual and, and all that kind of thing. However, it's very forced. It doesn't seem like a natural conversation about philosophical and intellectual subjects. It feels forced and kind of generic, and I did a lot of eye rolling during those conversations. Honestly, it just seemed like a platform for the author to show how clever he thinks he is, really. And that may not be what he intended at all, but that is the impression it gave me. And that sort of thing is a real turnoff for me. I don't like showing off or, boasting or any of that kind of thing. I don't like it. Or at least not in that way. Not in that way. Be charming about it or something. Don't try to cram it down somebody's throat in a fiction novel, But like I said, I could be totally wrong. He may not have meant that. He may not even realize that somebody would even have that impression, but I sure did. And it was annoying. Plus, it was just very boring. And the other half of the 3/4 of that first 3/4 of the journey to the parents' house are flashbacks. She has a lot of flashbacks. I understand why some of them are there, but most of them seemed really irrelevant. I just didn't know why they were in there. They were just sort of weird, idle memories. Like I'm not going to tell you any of the memories because I'm sure that all of the flashbacks are meant to be clues to lead you to the twist at the end. So I'm not going to tell you what any of the actual memories were, but I'll give you an example of what some of these idle memories were like. I walked into a room and I noticed a can of paint. So I walked over to the can of paint and I picked it up and I read it and it was red paint. And then I put the can back down and I walked out of the room wondering why I'd noticed the can of paint in the first place. It was like that. It was just I was like, why is that here? I just failed to understand why that was there. I just felt like, is he trying to be deep or something? Because it's a fail if he is, I don't know. I just didn't care for it, and I didn't get it at all. A lot of people did like this book, but I just Did not. The other thing that happens in the first 3/4 of the book is there are a few flashes of conversation that happens after the events of the book. And I didn't really get why that was there either. I mean, I shouldn't say I don't get it. I'm sure it was there to sort of lead you to the twist at the end again, but I don't know. The way it was done, it just seemed kind of weird and stuck in there, you know. I didn't care for the flow at all. Yeah, it was a lot of jumping around. No, you don't get lost during the jump around. I will say he did a good job of keeping you straight. You know, I never felt like I didn't know what was going on or where I was or anything. I understood what was happening for every scene. It was just weird, and it was very, very boring. I was so bored. It took me 5 days to get through that first 3/4 because it just drug. I mean, it was just boring. It was so boring. And then at the end, when the thriller part happens, it was cheesy. To me, I thought it was cheesy. I mean, I was just like, oh, come on. Really? You know, that's how I felt about it. So this book was pretty much all around disappointing for me. Like I said, I believe that this is one of Rachel's favorite novels. I'm pretty sure she said that it was one of her favorite novels. And I have not yet heard from her about what she liked about it so much. If she did an in-depth review about it, I can't remember it. Probably because the novel didn't catch my eye, you know. But yeah, if you've read this book and you enjoyed it, I would love to hear from you, because I don't get it. I honestly feel like, why does anybody like this book? I cannot see why anybody likes this book. It's like a fog or something. I can't even get it. Usually if I don't like a book, I know it's just me. And I can tell why somebody else would like it. But in this case, I don't get it. So if you've read it, you enjoy it, please leave something in the comments, message me on Goodreads to tell me something. I would really, really like to hear from somebody about why they liked this book so much. And the book club, nobody has yet left their detailed commentary. You know, I know that people liked it, but nobody has really, you know, broke that down and said what they liked about it or what they disliked about it. So anyways, yeah, I would love to hear somebody. I would love to hear from somebody about this book who actually did like it.